Today I bring you a short story of a paranormal experience that took place in an old haunted mansion. This is just one of my short stories from the shadows. The Conversation, a true story. On my second visit to a haunted East Coast mansion in 2011, I spent a night sleeping on a couch in front of the fireplace after being scared out of my room by a ghost. I'd fallen asleep sometime late in the night after talking around the fire with friends. I awoke around 3 a.m. needing to use the bathroom and saw the solarium was dark and I was the only one in the room. The entire bottom floor of the house was dark, only a few small lights to guide me through the darkness. Everyone was asleep in their beds, and the house was quiet. There are 2 ways to reach the small tower bathroom. I left the solarium and went through the hall into the dining room. As I entered the room, I heard 2 men talking in the room opposite, which I believe was a breakfast room. We referred to it as the room with the iron door. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but felt pleased to know I wasn't the only one awake in case I fell in the dark. I went through the dining room into the great hall, up a short staircase, slowly and haltingly in the dark, and into the bathroom. I'd had a ghostly experience in this bathroom on my first visit the year before. It's small with 2 toilet stalls. While using the one on the left, I heard a shuffling noise from the stall on the right, followed by the sound of the toilet flushing. There were no visible feet in the stall, and as I went to wash my hands, I saw it was completely empty. No one had entered or left the bathroom as I would have seen someone. A friend of mine also had a similar experience, which was documented by a paranormal investigation program. After using the bathroom, I went back down the stairs into the great hall. I could still hear the men talking through the whispering gallery, and decided to walk back that way to see who was still awake. As I walked into the chapel, the voices were louder, but to my puzzlement, not only could I not make out the owners of the voices, I couldn't understand what was being said as it didn't seem to be in English. I thought it was odd 2 people were having a conversation in a dark room at 3 a.m. and was now curious as to who they were. The language sounded French to me, but as I don't speak French, I couldn't make out what was being said. The voices were quite loud as I entered the room with the iron door, but although I was in the room and heard the voices emanating from within, I could see no one. I was standing in a room surrounded by disembodied voices carrying on a conversation and not acknowledging my presence at all. I could still hear them speaking uninterrupted as I left the room and went back into the hall, then the solarium, after which I could no longer hear them. Puzzled, I lay back down on the couch and went back to sleep, determined to solve the mystery in the morning. The following day, I asked the owner of the house if any of her boarders were Canadian, and told her what had happened the night before. She said no and thought it was very odd. I later found out that the fireplace in that room came from medieval France. I believe I experienced a residual haunting, or what is known as the stone tape theory, a playback of an event that plays over and over in certain conditions or at certain times, but you can't interact with it as it's not an intelligent haunting. I know of no one else who has experienced this phenomenon in that room. Maybe it's something that only happens at 3 a.m. on Halloween.